Hello, this is Laura Scott with Stampin' Coast to Coast, independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. I'm here Tuesday Facebook Live event and we're going to have some fun today. We're going to do some fall cards. I'll go ahead and show you guys some of what we're going to do today. There we go. I don't know if you guys have seen the pretty pumpkin. Oh, hang on, sorry, there's a glare. This is the pretty pumpkin stamp sets and gorgeous leaves. And we got the well-defined stamp set we're going to use today. This is some cards we're going to do tonight. We are going to have some fun and we're going to bring in some of the Nature's Harvest. Let me go ahead and tell you where we are in the catalog. We are going to be using the mini catalog. I'm sure you guys have had some fun perusing this. Let me tell you what page some of these items are on. Just feel like I should talk a little bit more. See how everybody's doing tonight. Hope everyone's having a great last couple days before school starts. I know some people have started already today and yesterday, and my kids, oh my gosh, my boys start today, tomorrow, and the next day. Today was first day of college, tomorrow's first day of middle school, and then Thursday's first day of high school. So they will be definitely in the throes of school here very soon, just in time to have a holiday weekend. That's the way to do it, right? So I'm going to just show you some pages in the catalog where I pulled today's products from. Here you go. On pages 54-55, this is the Harvest Meadow Suite. We are going to be playing with the cork. They come in 12 by 12 sheets, 2 sheets to each pack, and oh my goodness, it is awesome. I have been cutting it up like you wouldn't believe. I'll show you a piece of that. Here is a piece of the cork. You can't see, it's thin, so it's not too heavy on your card, but yet it does feel exactly like cork. You will have so much fun playing with that. And then we have the Harvest Meadow 12 by 12 sheets, and the colors in that are Calypso Coral, Bumblebee, Soft Succulent, Misty Moonlight, and Crumb Cake. So we will be playing with those colors tonight. Mostly Crumb Cake, we're going to be very neutral, as you may have noticed. So that's the paper. Let me pull some out. Not sure if you had a chance to see it yet, but it is absolutely gorgeous and just puts me right in the mood for some fall cards. Oops, sorry, got some other paper mixed in here. You could tell I was playing. So here's some of the side B's. And oh my gosh, this one is so pretty. This is probably gonna be my next card that I play with. That is just such a pretty color. And then this is the other side of that. It's just very neutral, fall colors. This one again makes me really think of fall. This one, oh my gosh, that's what we're playing with tonight. This one I think could go year round. I can see some really pretty birthday cards in that pretty blue. Same with this. Very, very pretty. And we'll flip them over, see if there's others we didn't see the first time. Oh, this one's very, very nice. I'll bring this one up because see the detail. Isn't that pretty? Just such pretty fall colors. Some of these I had flipped around so you'll see them again, but a lot of good bumblebee colors, neutrals. Yeah, I think some of that's repeating. Okay, sorry, I was playing with it so much. I should have probably organized it before the video, but just having a real play. So, what else? I think I'm gonna pull out some of the brush metallic adhesive back dots. I have not put them on my card yet, but I think we will today. And then this is the It's called Diamond Weave Ribbon, and it feels like cotton to me. So soft. And you can either lay it flat on your card just for a little extra design, or you can tie yourself a little bow very easily, just so you know. It's beautiful. And then the Time Worn Type 3D Embossing Folder is also part of this suite, which we're going to be using today. It is, I just wanted you to see what it kind of looks like. It really just gives your cardstock just a perfect texture. Here's what it looks like. Just kind of gives you like that worn look. Not worn out, but just kind of like, I don't know, old typewriter type. And then we have Well Defined, which is in the annual catalog, but it is so great. We'll be using that for an inside the card sentiment, which, as you can tell, has beautiful sentiments for Halloween, Christmas, winter, holiday. It's kind of fun if you put something on the front and in the inside. A holiday, a reason to eat more. Gratitude, the feeling in my heart when I think about you. Halloween, when taking candy from strangers is good and dressing normally is strange. Christmas, the time of year where the presence of family is better than the presence from family. Aw. And winter, when it's cold outside, but thoughts of you still keep me warm. I love that they're like, look like definitions, but they're not really definitions. So I love that. So, and then of course we have the bundle itself, which is Nature's Harvest bundle, which of course I buried, as I always do. This is the stamp set. And then these are the dies, which of course I have one out on the table. Hang on, it is, which one is it? Oh, it's gonna be the branch. I have it here, I promise. I have it here. I was playing with it. Oh, it was still on the machine. Here it is. So it goes right here. And that I've had fun with for Halloween cards as well. It's kind of that eerie, almost like a tree. If you wanted to, if you do have another tree in one of the sets, that's a smaller tree. So this is where if you want a bigger branch, which could be for Christmas, for fall. So many fun things you can do with these. So we'll be playing with those tonight. And what else? We are going to be, sorry, gotta go. Gorgeous Leaves are in here, I promise. Oop, I must have passed it, sorry. Oh, here, we're gonna be playing with this one too, which is on page 48, which is Pretty Pumpkins bundle. And as you can see, they're so pretty. I fell in love with this one with, look at the details in this pumpkin. You can use your markers or daubers to like do multiple colors on it. These you can color in or do monochromatic. So fun, so many different choices, great sentiments. If friends were pumpkins, I'd pick you. So thankful for you, gather together. So many nice things. All right. And then we have Gorgeous Leaves. And just going back to the pumpkins for half a second, we also have the framelits. Sorry, I'm gonna get this where you can see, I promise. The framelits, all these pumpkins, so cool framelits. This detailed one, my goodness. I'll get it out in a moment, don't you worry. Then we have the previous page, page 47. We're gonna be playing with Gorgeous Leaves, which is amazing. Also, where is it? This is the stamp set. And here is, sorry, I'm gonna bring these framelits out for you now. This is the pumpkin ones that I mentioned. Aren't they cool? And then these are the leaves. Oh my goodness, the detail. I told myself I did not need another leaf set, and then I saw how pretty these were coming out and I had to get it. So gorgeous. Love the detail. So this is with the pretty pumpkins, and this is with the gorgeous leaves bundle. So we will be playing with each of those. So that is where I got that from. And then I did want to show you, I'm playing tonight to make these cards. We have the glitter paper, which is part of the Celebration catalog. So if you order any of these bundles tonight, and here is my contact information. Sorry about that. Everything's kind of askew now. Stampin' Coast to Coast .stampinup.net is my website where you can order, click on the order link. And the email, if you want to email me if you have any questions, stampincoasttocoast@gmail.com. And my August host code, even though it's the 31st, is 9EQSU6XS. If it's after August, if you're into September when you see this video, please just go onto my website. The details will be right there with the September host code. And this is the Celebration catalog, which goes to the end of September. You have a whole month still. And this is the bedazzling paper that I'm going to be using tonight to do the pumpkin. So pretty. And you can see there the cork. We're going to have some fun with that. And then for these leaves, I use the bedazzling, but I overlaid it on the gold foil paper. And then we also have a bronze foil paper. Those are in the annual catalog. So pretty. So that is what we're going to do tonight. Let's have some fun. No further ado, that's where it all came from. And we are going to have some fun. So let's get started. Let's do this one first. This will be fun. So we are first going to use, let me get out the paper. Tonight's base colors were in the brown family. So we're using Crumb Cake is the lightest brown. And then we have Soft Suede is the medium brown. And then we have Early Espresso, which is a chocolate type color. So we're going to start with this one. And this is going to be the middle shade. Soft Suede is this color. So we're just going to cut that half a slice, sorry about that, guys. Half a sheet cardstock. So we're going to cut this lengthwise at, pinched it, okay, at 5.5. Sorry, I'm not used to doing this upside down, but that's better for you. So we're going to cut that at 5.5. And then I'm going to turn it the other way, and I'm going to score it at 4.25. Put that aside. And then we are going to pull out our bone folder. And fold it in half. Give it a nice, good crease. If your paper ever does this thing where it kind of turns up from your cutter, I don't know if you guys can see it. If you run your nail along it, it does tend to straighten that out, so it's not a bother at all. Much better. So we have our base, and then the next thing we're going to do is build these pieces. And I think this is just such a fun way to do it. There is no set rule to this, just so you know. You could use scraps and have a whole lot of fun with it. And But I know some people are very particular and want to know, you know, paper sizes, etc. So we're going to do a little bit of that just to show you, walk you through exactly how I did this one. Just in case you don't have scraps, or you do want to do this exact design, I will tell you how, but try not to laugh because the instructions are going to be pretty precise. First of all, the cork paper, I did cut to 3 1/8 by 3 5/16. Yes, pretty precise, but that is 3 1/8 across the top and 3 5/16 going down. And if you want to do something different because you don't like those measurements, feel free, but that is what this is cut at, 3 1/8 by 3 5/16. So what I did, that's going to go here roughly, right? And then the next piece of DSP, I picked this from the pack because I thought it looked very much like Thanksgiving fall-ish. And this piece is 2 1/2 by 4 1/2. That one's more generous. 2 1/2 again by 4 1/2. So that's going to go roughly here. And then the crumb cake is going to be 3 by 4 1/8. So this is a piece of crumb cake, and it's going to go roughly down here, right? So that gives a general location of where everything goes. But how did I cut this, or how can you cut this? So the way I did it, or that I'm suggesting if you want to do something similar, is I take this, and again, I'm paying attention to which way the cork goes. You might prefer it to go this way. You might want it to go at an angle. When you cut the piece out, just be mindful of that, of how you are cutting your cork, direction-wise. And so with this, I wanted it to go kind of up and down, or maybe like this, but mine is going to go up and down. So what I did was, I didn't want to make marks on this side of the paper, so I wanted to turn it over. But I know that every time, if I flip it over, which is nicer to write on it and make marks and cut, that it's going to be flipped from here. So I know what I'm cutting on this side is actually cutting this side, and what I'm marking on this side of the paper is actually going with this side. So bear with me with the measurements. So if you want to do the same as me, okay, so on the 3 1/4 side, so I want to make sure I have it right. So I flipped it over. Okay, give me half a second, I'm sorry. All right, so I flipped it over, and then on this side, going down, I'm gonna mark it at 2 1/2, okay? So I'm just gonna grab a ruler. Happen to have this one handy. So I'm gonna mark it down. No, it's hard to see here. So I'm gonna mark it down 2 1/2, which is here, okay? And then across the bottom, I'm going to mark it at 1 3/4. So, sorry, I got too many things in the way. So that's going to be 1 3/4. So 1 3/4. Oh, sorry. I went to 2 3/4. 1 3. I was like, that does not make sense. 1 3/4, which is here. Okay. So I've got the 2 marks. I'm going to bring it up because I know this is kind of far from the camera. All right. So there's my markings. So I'm going to now cut between those 2 lines, and then I'm going to cut from the bottom point up to the top corner. Okay. So I'm going to just get out my cutter, move some stuff out of the way. All right, so again, I've got a mark here and I've got a mark here. Not sure if you guys can see it very well, but that's where they are. So I'm just going to turn it on my cutter so you can see. Just going to do my best to line that up and cut. Now this piece, you can save it, you can scrap it. It's up to you. To me, that one is a little small, but you'll see this next one that goes from that bottom point up to the corner. This one's going to be a little bit bigger. So I will save that because I might be able to do some piece art with that too. So here is my handy dandy little piece. And if you look, now that I flip it over, it fits in here pretty good. Okay. Now, I set down my other piece. Okay, so now this piece I need to cut. So this one is the DSP, and it is going to be marked from the bottom, let's see, going up. I'm going to mark it at 1 3/16. So again, I apologize, 1 3/16 is where that mark is. And I'm going to grab my ruler. And this time I'm going to, I can do it on the front, but I'm going to use a pencil so that I can erase it if it's still on there after I cut. So 1 3/16. So this ruler is not the best at 16ths, but that's okay. 1, there it is, and 3/16. And you just mark it there. Okay, so that corner down there. And now I'm going to cut it from that spot across. So it's going to be cut like this, okay, so that it can line up with the other side. So just going to make sure I measured right, because this ruler on here is a little better. So excuse me 1 second while I double check my measurement. It's good. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna cut this. That 1 3/16 across. So I now have this piece. Put this away for a moment. So now I've got this piece, which I don't have to worry about up here because it's a thin enough piece of paper that it's not going to be a problem to overlap. In fact, I'm kind of glad it overlaps a little bit because then I don't have to worry about any of the cardstock peeking through, because sometimes you want there to be a little cardstock peeking through and sometimes you don't. And I do not this time. So look, so now it perfectly matches up. And my pumpkins are going to hide any kind of little bit of off there. So you don't have to worry about it being exact. Your pumpkins are going to hide a lot. In fact, if you saw this, my cork on this was a little short, but it totally hid that cork. So that was not a problem at all. And so now this piece down here, this is crumb cake. And what we're going to do is we're going to stamp our sentiment right on the crumb cake. And then we're going to put it through the embossing folder to get that afterwards, because you can't really stamp on it after you put it through the embossing folder. So we're going to just grab our crumb cake, set these aside for a second, and I'm going to grab my Gather Together, which is from, let's see, which one was that one from? That is from the Pretty Pumpkins stamp set right here. So that's where I grabbed that sentiment from. And let's see, I think I'm going to grab Early Espresso, because I do like my sentiments to be a little dark so they stand out well. So we're gonna juice that up. think my stamp pad is pretty juicy, so don't think it'd be a problem. So I'm just going to do my best to get this straight first. And then I'm just going to do it kind of in the bottom right corner. There's no exact spot. So I'm just going to stand up so I can look down. And if it's not straight or I have any marks, I will flip it over. That'll work. Pretty happy with that. So that is the sentiment there. So I'm just going to run that through the embossing folder real quick. Oh, I'm putting that away. I'm going to need that for the inside in just a minute. So bear with me 1 second. Now I'm going to use the Time Worn Type. That's what it's called. Time Worn. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not focusing. Time Worn Type 3D embossing folder. And I love the fact that Stampin' Up! Has given us, they show you the front. Sometimes it doesn't matter, but this is technically the front where you can see their logo. And they give you a line in case there's something that needs to be straight. Some patterns don't matter. But this one's kind of got enough, you know, a right direction, so I'm going to use that. If you bear with me 1 second, I'm going to run it through the embossing folder. Embossing cut machine. Of course, I forgot to take the extra plate number 2 comes off. So don't do like I just did and try to wheel it through with that there. Sorry about that extra moment for me to figure out I had too many plates for the 3D. All right, so there we go. We got that. So, and for this, you might be wondering why I'm not cutting it down. And it's because, again, it's just going to go behind. So we are now actually ready to build our card. So let me just grab our card base. We can glue this straight down. And I just had my Seal Plus. Bear with me 1 second. Okay, not sure what I did with it, but that's okay. 2 ways to skin a cat. This is actually really good once you put your cardstock through an embossing folder. So I'm just going to put a little glue on it. Put my little stand to keep it ready. This will also let me adjust paper tonight because it gives you a little bit of forgiveness when you set it down to shift. I did not want a big border this time, so you'll see that my edges are cut really close to the edge. And then I'm going to get my piece of cork paper. And again, I'm going to just get a little glue. Oh, I apologize. I did that backwards. This is obviously got to go first because we did not cut it down. Cork goes last. And part of that is it's a tiny bit thicker, so you don't want it underneath. And part of it is because I do not want to overuse my paper. I like to save it for other projects as much as possible, right? Savor that specialty paper. So there's that. Here we go. This, using the all-purpose glue is really good to allow us to shimmy it around a little bit. I think I'm happy with that. All right. So here we go. Now, and I'm sorry, everybody, I wasn't ignoring you, Deborah and Carol. I'm so sorry. Your comments weren't showing up till just now. I'm so glad I saw them. I was starting to wonder where you were. So we are now going to make some really fun pumpkins, and we're going to use these awesome framelits. Thank you, Tina. We are going to, I just could not wait to get my hands on this framelit. It's so pretty. So we're going to put that through with some early espresso paper. And then we're going to use this framelit with the bedazzled paper. If you haven't used it yet, just think about it. It can go on anything. We could have even put another strip underneath here to have it shiny going across, but I don't want to take away from my pumpkins. And I'm going to just put a tiny dab here. Ah, it's not tiny. That's okay. It will be hidden under my pumpkin. Utilize that glue. Okay, so we're going to take a piece of bedazzled paper, and we're also going to use the bedazzled paper for this wheat stock. Is that what you call it? Does anyone know? I think it's a wheat stock. We have that, and I got that one from the Nature's Harvest framelits. So we're just gonna borrow that for this project. And we're gonna borrow this pumpkin. And you can cut your paper down if you want, or you can do it just like this. These sheets fit through the larger of the two embossing cut machines. So I just put it through right like that, or more like that, because I'm savoring my paper. And by the power of television, I have these two cut out for you already, but they do cut out real nicely from the bedazzled paper. And then for this framelit, like I said, I used some early espresso, the darker of the brown papers. So ran that through the machine. And again, by the power of television, we have this. Now this one, if I was thinking, which obviously I should have done, it would have been a great opportunity to use the adhesive sheets, right guys? Very detailed on this one, as well as the wheat maybe even. But I felt like this bedazzled paper was a little thicker than our standard cardstock, so I didn't really want to add too much to it, but it might have been nice to do that as well. But we're going to put dimensionals under this pumpkin, and the other two we are going to glue down flat, but I can use my silicone mat with a little glue. We can do that. My little glue trick with a sponge. A little glue in the corner. And use a dauber, or if some of you still have some of the sponges, I use those too. But you can use the daubers, they are in the annual catalog. And I do just kind of get some of it off. I don't want too much globbing on to my project. And I try to hold it real still. Don't want it to move around once the glue's on the mat. If you want to use your snail or your seal, you can do that too. See me moving around right after I say don't move it around. All right, whoop, put that anywhere. All right, so I'm just gonna put that on here. Fun. And then I'm gonna do the same thing with this pumpkin. I'm gonna do a dry placement first, just to make sure I am happy with where I'm putting things. Yep, I think it will go, sticking to my fingers. Let's see, I think I'll just put it something like that. And again, I'm just going to Of course, I need a little more glue. I don't know why. It always takes a little bit more glue than I think it will. But, and you don't need it all over. You just need to get, you know, just like you would your Stampin' Steel. You don't need it on every single spot, but enough to glue down your project, right? So I'm going to put that away before I accidentally glue something. And I'm just going to put this on here. Like that. And then I'm going to move the mat out of the way before I glue something by mistake. And I'm going to grab some dimensionals because it would not be me without some dimensionals on the project. So I think that fits there with a larger dimensional. And then I'm going to grab my minis because I want to get a couple more on here, but not quite trusting the size of the large. There you go. One more. Oops. I feel kind of bad it came off. All right, I put it back. It's a miracle I could get it back on there. All right. See if I can fit that in there. Okay, that's good. That's good. Got a few dimensionals on there. Hope you guys are all doing well this Tuesday evening. My oldest son is celebrating his anniversary with his girlfriend right now. I think this is their 2-year anniversary. Actually, it might be 3 because he mentioned that he planned it for the last 2 years and now it's her turn. So maybe this is the 3rd year. I feel like it is. Time flies with young love. So here is this one. And again, I'm going to put this, I'm sorry, let me bring it up to the camera. I'm going to put this part, I think, over where it all comes together so that if it's not perfect, no one is going to know. And that makes it overlap real nicely. So there's the front of the card. And now we just have to design the inside. And I brought a little strip of that cork back. And for this, I did bring in vanilla cardstock. It is not that one. Oh, where did I put it? I apologize. I must have set it aside. Hold on one second. Hate it when I'm cleaning up when I need to leave something out. Okay, this is the Very Vanilla, which I don't use a whole lot, but it comes in handy in the fall, especially because I just love these brown tones for fall cards. I don't know about you guys. So for this, I cut some early espresso. I just cut everything down by 1/4 inch in all directions. So I'm gonna just grab a piece of early espresso and I'm gonna cut it down to 4 by 5 1/4. So this is going to go on 4 by 5 1/4. And then the vanilla is going to be less than that. So it's going to be 3 3/4 by 5, if I do my math correctly. Oh, Tina, if you haven't got those pumpkin dies, oh, you've got to go get them. They are so cool. Had a lot of fun with them. So yeah, I'm going to lay, I know it's the inside of the card, everybody, but I really thought it just needed it. Just give a little extra pizzazz for Thanksgiving, right? So we're just going to pull out those stamps. I use the So Thankful for You. Again, I believe this is going to come from the pumpkin set, but let's peek and see. Yes, it is from Pretty Pumpkins, So Thankful for You. And then I'm going to bring in the pumpkin stamp itself, and I'm going to bring in the little pumpkin vines, and I'm just going to bring back out my early espresso because I like my sentiments dark, as I mentioned. And then I'm going to bring out some crumb cake because I want the other 2 stamps to be a little more subtle. So let's start with the sentiment, and hopefully I will get it right the first time. Ha ha ha. Again, I love that this ink pad is juicy. All right, I'm gonna stand up. Of course, my paper is crooked, so I'm gonna be crooked. All right. Always good to practice this on your grid paper, but I'm taking a shot and not terrible. I will take it. And then where are my pumpkin vines and my pumpkins? All right, so I'm going to close this one before I accidentally put it in the wrong ink, which you know I do all the time. I'll bring over the crumb cake, and I'm going to kind of do this one off the page. Let's see, I can't remember whether I stamped this one off. I don't think I did. All right, and try not to get the 3rd pumpkin on there. I think that's straight. I'm hoping it's straight. Oh yeah, okay, I'll take it. Then we need the vines. And for this one, I'm pretty sure I stamped off because I really don't want it to be heavy. Sorry, I'm turning around. On my sentiment, so I'm going to stamp off once, and then I'm going to just have it go right across my sentiment, which I think is fun. And then I'm going to grab a piece of cork, which, oh, I'm trying to remember, what did I say it was across? Let's see, 3 3/4, and then it is just a little baby strip. It's so good to use, I think it's 2/8. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do 2/8 by 3 3/4. So I'm just gonna take a strip I had some extra of, and I'm gonna cut that down. And what did I say? 3 3/4, sorry. So I'm gonna cut it down to that. No, you should not grimace when you cut this paper. It is so fun to put it on your project. Just do it. And I have to do this one closer to me because I cannot do such a tiny piece. Okay. I don't know if I can get it all the way on there. Let's see if I can get it. Sorry, you're not seeing the measurement part, but trust me, it's just a sliver. And the beautiful thing about the Stampin' Up cutter, sorry, I started to let go and it stuck to my fingers, is that you can hold this part here and it does a really good job. And another trick is if you start the cutter in the middle of the project, it doesn't fray it as much. So there you go. But if you're like me, you're going to end up with slivers from other projects, and they're really great to use. So hopefully I cut this right. Oh, I did not. I cut it way too small, didn't I? But that's okay. I cut it smaller than the other one. Where were my eyes? My measurements. Go back to math class, but that's okay. I'm just fine with that. But this is so small that I'm going to have to use this glue. I don't know what my eyes were thinking. Oh, you know what I can do? Oh, you know what I'm going to do? Don't laugh. I'm going to grab a piece of Bedazzle and I'm going to add that to it. And so I'm going to just cut this down. And I'm going to make it the size I should have made the other one. And 3 3/4. I got that direction hopefully right. We'll soon see. Thank you, Carol. I'm glad you still like it. But look, we'll still get it in there. Look. Oh, yes. Okay, so that size is about right. I'm a little sliver off, but I don't think anyone will notice. And then we'll just put this on top. It'll give it a little extra character, right? Right. So we're going to put a little glue on each of these. Sometimes with crafting you have to improvise. Sometimes it leads you to something even better, right? I think it often leads me to something better. Of course, picking it up is another story, right? So we're just gonna shimmy that on there. I think that'll work. Hold it down a second. Then I'm going to take this one. How many layers can you put on the inside of a card? How funny. And it's just going to bring those inside. Then we got to layer it up. Onto here. And then I'm going to layer it one more time. I don't have too much glue on my fingers yet. Mind of your own, a mind of its own. Yes, I agree completely. Let's see. Make sure I'm doing it the right direction. How many times have you guys put it on upside down on the inside after all that work? By the time I do all of that, sometimes I do forget which way I was holding the paper, or I had set it aside and it ended up upside down. There you go. So that is card number 1. Which was the harder of the 2 cards. So the next one will be much faster, but I just thought it would be fun for you to see. If you're like me, I had seen other people online and Pinterest doing those fun off-skew layouts, and I thought it'd be fun to see how somebody does one. So I'm going to just close this up before I have an incident. And then we're going to pull out the next card. And for this one, we are going to use crumb cake as the base. So I have a piece of 5.5 by 4 1/4, scored at 4 1/4. I probably said that wrong, didn't I? It's 5.5 by 4 1/2. No, it is 4 1/4. I'm sorry, I was right. And then scored, I'm so sorry. I apologize. I don't know why I'm misspeaking so badly. Yes, it was a normal cardstock. This is 8.5 by 5.5 because I cut the cardstock in half, and it's scored at 4 1/4. All right, I'm on page now. So sorry about that. You guys probably know exactly what I'm talking about, and I'm misspeaking. So go ahead and let me get this one out of the way. And I will try to speak better. So I got a little crease there. All right, so for this one though, we are going to have a peekaboo strip. So I'm going to cut this off at 3/4 of an inch. So I'm just gonna grab my cutter. And I'm gonna put it in, and we're just gonna cut one side off by 3/4 of an inch. And you might want to make your peekaboo section a little bigger or smaller, totally up to you. But that's the size that I like my peekaboo. I don't even know if that's the right term. If you guys know the right term, let me know. I just, I'll show you again what I'm talking about. It's just peekaboo, and we're gonna put a strip of cork right there. And then, I wanted to, the cork is 1 inch. So that's why I did 3/4 inch peekaboo, because I want the cork to go beyond it a little bit. I don't want it to be exact. So my cork is gonna be 1 inch by 5.5 to fit this page. And that's gonna go on top of my very vanilla cardstock there. So we'll do that in a moment. We'll do the front first. So here we have a piece of DSP that is 5.5 because I wanted it to be the full card length. And this direction, because of the peekaboo, it's gonna go, mine is 3 3/8 is what mine is, because I didn't want a big border. I really wanted the paper to steal the show on this one. So mine is 5 1/4 by 3 3/8. So let me just, this one's a little small. Let me grab another piece of it. So again, I just loved this DSP. I'm gonna grab my cutter. And let's see. Can I do 5 yeah, I can do 5 1/4. This direction. Oh, it's already 5 1/4. That worked out nice. And again, I want the, actually that doesn't work because I want it to be upright. So I want my 5 1/4 to be this direction. So I do need to cut this down to 3 3/8. So 2 3/8. Hopefully I'll, there we go. I don't know if any of you guys were like, wait, don't cut it that way. So that, and then this direction's got to be 5.5. Sorry, I hate that I'm going off the table on you. So 5.5. Sorry, I gotta use the cutter, not the scorer. So here we go. So we have this 3 3/8 by 5.5. And then the other thing we're going to do on this is the sentiment and a framelit for the sentiment. And for this, if you guys haven't guessed it, is one of my favorites. of course I have buried. I had it here in a second ago. Bear with me one moment. This is, of course, my go-to tasteful labels. I just love this framelit right here, which you probably saw in my Halloween projects. You can use it on the Halloween tombstones, as well as many other things. It is just such a, it's really great for masculine cards too. Just such a good framelit. So first I'm going to stamp and then we're going to cut it out. So I need a piece of Very Vanilla. And you don't need quite this big, so bear with me while I cut it down a little bit. I'm sure everybody has some scraps that they can grab. If you want to know an exact size, you can do like a 2 by 2.5. I will show you what that would look like if you did a 2 by 2.5. Let's see, so all right, so there's 2 by 2.5, and then I'm going to do the same thing with a piece of Early Espresso, a 2 by 2.5. Let's see, 2.5 by 2, and if you have a scrap about this size, you don't have to cut it down, because when you use framelits, you don't have to be exact sizes because the framelit will cut out the rest. All right, so again, I'm going to bring out my Early Espresso for my sentiment, and I'm going to grab this So Thankful for You, which I have right here. Perfect. I'll take it. And then I'm going to just run it through the embossing folder real quick with this framelit. I'm just going to cut this out. Feel free to talk amongst yourselves for a second. Alright, the first one's run through. Just one more second while I run the layer through. There we go. And there you go. And sorry, I'm putting it back before I lose it. Back in the little case. All right, so I'm going to close this up for a minute. And then for this, I'm going to do the trick where you cut it in half. Where did I put my snips? Okay. Just going to cut it in half so that I can frame it out on here. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on either side. And then you just, I pick it up and place it behind so that I can maneuver it around a little bit, get the exact framing that I want. And the nice thing about all-purpose glue is if you put it on crooked, you can straighten it out, maneuver it around. And I know I'm going to dimensionalize this. Throw some dimensionals on there. Boom. So I'll set that aside for a minute. And then we need our branch and our leaves, which is coming from the Gorgeous Leaves bundle, which is so pretty. So I want the detailed leaves for this. These are great cutouts, framelits, for when you stamp your leaves. But I am not stamping them today. I am going to take advantage of some beautiful foil paper. And look at that. I have remnants in my framelit. That will not work. All right, it's out. You just take a little brush, which we have the Take Your Pick tool has it. I have a very old one. Okay, so now we're ready. Now, what I did was I ran it through twice. One is with the bedazzled and one's with gold. And then this is with the other paper, which I will show you. It's the copper. I keep wanting to call it bronze. It's copper paper, copper foil. And then we have the gold foil. So, and for this, I don't like to, my advice is to only cut out exactly what you're going to use, because I don't know if your embossing machine does the same, but it doesn't, you have to have a very, very clean plate for it not to leave marks on the foil. So it's hard to reuse the part that you're not using for the project. So I'm just going, what I do is I put the framelit on the paper and I cut out around it. Just very gently hover my paper, my framelit on it. And then I cut out what I want for that project, because I know I'm going to throw away what's left. Thank you, Carol. I'm glad you like it. And then I'll do the same. Well, I don't have to do the same. I mean, I can do the bedazzle. It's forgiving, so I can just cut out the piece I want from that. So then I'm going to do the same thing for the copper sheet. So let me grab a piece of that and cut it out. Sorry about the noise. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to just minimize my usage spot to the best of my ability. You can probably do better than that. I was kind of under the gun here because I have an audience. Put that aside. So I'm going to, sorry, everything's shifting. I'm going to just run these through, and I'm going to run through this one through the bedazzled paper as well. So please bear with me 1 second. There's number one. number 2. If you haven't figured it out, I do need that one back. So what I'm going to do is do this. When it's still in the metal, it's a great time to brush over it to get all those little nooks and crannies out. And then everything falls out. So I'm going to use this framelit one more time in the bedazzling paper. Now for the bedazzling paper, if you can hear me, I put it through the machine upside down because it gives a little bit more pressure that way. Bear with me 1 second. I gotta put it through one more time because I did not have it in there right. It's also a good idea to put it through a few times. But I promise you it's worth it. Okay, and if you want to do the same trick I talked about before, and some are in there still, you can still put this back and feel it snap back into the grooves and then run it over. Because I prefer to do that than to run my bristles over the paper itself, because that might pull off some of the nice bling. So there you go. So I'm gonna put my, need it one more time. Again, I don't want to put my bristles on the foil itself, so I'm going to do it with it still on there. Hang on. And these would have been good to put on adhesive strips as well. Oh, it didn't quite come out all the way, so I can click it back in and you can feel it. Sometimes it's nice just to do it without your fingers in the way, but then you're kind of raining it onto your desk, or I'll usually do it directly over my trash can. So you get it down to a few, and then you should grab your take a pick tool, which mine has traveled, so I think my son actually used it for a back to school project, which is so funny. So I'm sure it's up in his room. So we get to do it this way. I'm not sure why. Maybe I should have run it through one more time, but some people actually like to leave some of them in and have more of a solid or a combination look. I do not usually do that. So we're going to try to poke these out as quick as I can. And I'll tell you, if you have issues with getting them off, I'll tell you one thing I've started doing is using tweezers. Of course, it wanted to jump back in there. If you have any troublemakers, you can always use tweezers to get them off. I, as you can tell, have one handy at all times. It's good for picking up jewels, even though the take a pick tool is really good for that too, but you know what I mean. You can, I will quite often have both in my hand at the same time and poke and pull. But does not fall out. Goodness gracious. It just knows I'm on camera. It wants to be a troublemaker. See? Then you don't have to feel like you have to keep poking all the sides. You get one, then it comes off. It's probably good to see what happens when it doesn't work perfectly. This is how to handle it. And if you're wondering if it's worth it, it is, because this paper and these leaves are gorgeous. Just gorgeous. And the wow factor you're going to get from anyone getting this card is going to be worth it. And usually if you run it through the folder one extra time, you don't have to go through this. As you saw with the other leaf, I did an extra time for that one and it came right out. There you go. Now we have a beautiful, beautiful foil leaf. Okay. Now I have a mess too, right? But that's okay. It's all worth it. Bear with me a half a second while I get this off my desk though. And I'm going to bring in, you guessed it, my handy dandy silicone mat, which only because we're ending our project for tonight, I'm going to just flip it over. And all right, first, I'm going to glue this to here. And when I do, I'm going to offset it a little bit because I want the gold to shine through. So we're going to do this. And actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and put together the rest of the card first so that we can put it straight down when we do it. Okay, we'll just set that down for a second. So let's just keep stamping for a second. We're going to go ahead and get these pieces ready. So the inside cork is 1 by 5.5. So this piece is already cut to 1 by 5.5, so it's ready to go. And so I just need my Very Vanilla, which doesn't have to be all the way over. So as long as it's 5.5, that's the important direction. And then the other way, it has to be at least, 1 inch, mark less. So I can cut this like, I don't know, 3 3/4 or 4. So as long as it covers, I'm good. And then to make sure that I'm putting my sentiment in the right spot, because I don't want it to be here and the words going off, to be centered, what I'm going to do is eyeball it with the cork, and then I'm going to remove the cork before I actually stamp, okay? This is where I pulled in the, let me get a bigger block. Hold on one second. Gotta shift something around here. So I want a bigger block than I had mounted. All right, so this is the definition of gratitude sentiment, and I'm going to use Early Espresso. And like I said, I'm going to eyeball it here, and you can put it straight down, but I'm actually going to remove that, and hopefully I'm doing it straight. We'll soon see. That'll work. Okay, I like it. And then I wanted to get that really cool pumpkin stamp on here. So I'm going to grab that, and this is coming from the Gratitude. I don't know if you remember. The Gratitude stamp came from Well Defined, which is in the annual catalog. And the pumpkin comes from Pretty Pumpkins, this stamp that is just gorgeous. One of the reasons why I bought the set. So pretty. So I have that here. And for this one though, I'm gonna go back to my crumb cake because I don't want that to be too dark. So we're just going to grab that, shift that over a little bit, and you can stamp off or you can do it direct. I'll just do this one direct. And it is gorgeous. Just to give a little bit of hint of that fun pumpkin. And now we just build, right? So go ahead and, oops, sorry, wrong piece. I'm going to start from the inside. We're going to just go ahead and put it on. I've got more at the top than the bottom, but oh well. All right, so there's this piece. All right, goes here. And again, I'm not worried about the right side because that's going to be covered up. And again, I wanted this to be all the way to the top and bottom. I just really wanted it to be the whole card this time. And then the piece of cork, we're going to put right here. And again, it's really good to have wiggle room to get that just right, especially when you're doing the whole surface. Okay, and now for the front, we're going to put the DSP down. Again, the other side is so beautiful, it's hard to cover it up. Make sure your branches are going upright. My glasses keep falling off my face. Hard to look down all the time with glasses on. All right, so there's that. And now, oh, I need to cut my branch. Guys, I forgot my branch. All right, we're gonna cut my branch real quick, and that is from the Nature's Harvest set. These are some of the dies from that. So cool. So I'm going to grab the little branch, and this one is in the medium brown, which is called Soft Suede. So I'm just gonna grab that for 2 seconds. I'll be right back. Thank you so much for your patience. Again, I apologize. I meant to have that cut out beforehand so you didn't have to wait. So we have this little branch that's going to go down. So we're going to do that with the little extra there. Hopefully we don't have to keep going back and forth with the dauber technique. Give him a little love. Kiss it with some glue. All right. Then we're going to just put this down. Voila. And we're going to do the same with our bronze leaf. That, if you remember my last video, anytime it's foil, I do prefer to use the adhesive strips, especially if you're in a hurry, because get a little glue on the front of the foil is not fun. But if you're going to do it, fall leaves are the ones to do it with. Because, oh, it popped. There's a little glue bubble in there, but it's gone. All right, so then we have this, which will just have it branch out from here a little bit. There we go. And then you have the overlay one. So we're going to do glue on the back of this, and then I'm going to use dimensionals once they're together. And it will be easier to put dimensionals on. Oop, it shifted, so I don't want to put it down in that spot again. So I'm going to move it over here to a clean spot. There we go. And this is very forgiving because no one's going to see any glue on the front of that. So then I'm going to very purposefully line that up off center. Sorry guys, my eyes are not being very nice to me right now. Okay, there we go. So you'll see that I purposefully have it off center. My hair and all, sorry about that. It's going, come on now. Okay, so now I'm gonna move this out of the way. Even though I know adhesive's on there, but that's okay. It will be fine, I promise. Get this dauber out of the way before I put something on it. All right, so now I'm gonna grab my minis, my mini dimensionals, and then I'm gonna put some on here. And I'm just gonna find spots where I don't think it will be seen because things are overlapping. And if it's a tiny, tiny sliver of a spot, trust me, no one is going to be noticing a dimensional through it. But I just don't want it to the edge either. Let's just do one more down to the bottom. Oh, another little guy snuck off the sheet. See if I can be as lucky as I was before. Can I get it back on there? Good enough. I'll just try not to touch it before I need it, right? All right, so peel our dimensionals. Oh my goodness, there's a piece of hair that's haunting me now. Get off of there. All right. Here we go. Here we go. And you can cover up any mistakes you have or hold things down with it. That will be just fine. And then this is already all ready to go. Just take those backings off. As you can tell, I'm getting a nice little pile here. And I like this one just to kind of go off the page. Just like that. There you go. Isn't that sweet? I think that anyone getting either one of these cards would be thrilled during the holidays. Of course, you can always, if you like more color, you can always color up these gorgeous leaves with daubers and do multiple colors, or you can use your right markers and color on them directly. And the same thing with the pumpkins. Oh my goodness, you can color your pumpkins, which, sorry, here they are. You can color them up and do lots of colorful things. So I just really wanted to do something subtle but elegant, and I hope that I have delivered. Thank you, Carol. I'm so glad you're inspired. That's awesome. If you have any questions, you know how to reach me at stampincoasttocoast.stampinup.net or via email stampincoasttocoast@gmail.com. And I'm going to bring you back to see me. Oh, I hope everybody had a great evening. So thanks for joining me tonight. I really hope that you guys have a great rest of your week. If you guys are going back to school, I wish all your kids and grandkids a really great week. I hope it's a dry week. Got a lot of rain with Hurricane Ida coming up. So be safe out there, and I look forward to seeing you next week, next Tuesday, same time, 7 o'clock Tuesdays. Now next week is the first Tuesday of the month, so it's going to be tip of the month. So look forward to getting a tip next week. We may make a card, but I think we're going to focus on a tip first, and then we'll just use that tip to make one card so that we can all learn something. I hope you enjoy it. Have a great week. Thanks for joining me. Good night.